right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Monday morning starts damp, but it doesn't rain the entire day. A breakdown on our expected rainfall.
Clayton bare arms stripped in the Missouri house.
What is even a cardigan? What's the jacket? Does it need a lapel?
Tonight, the dress code debate in Jefferson City garnering national attention. First tonight, manhunt over. A double murder suspect from Franklin County caught just hours ago after crashing his car in St. Louis City. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Ann Allred has the night off. Tonight, Timothy Coulter is in police custody facing multiple charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder. He was arrested tonight following a police chase that ended in a crash at I-55 and Bates in St. Louis City 11 days after the murders in Pacific. Our Laura Bercheski has new details tonight from police.
I just hope they catch him.
That's what Ronald Klein Sr. told 5 on Your Side just one day after his son, Ron Klein Jr., and his son's girlfriend, Leslie Barstow, were killed.
Somebody was after him, but he never would tell me who.
Franklin County Sheriff Steve Pelton says Timothy Coulter was in the back seat of Klein Jr.'s truck back on January 4th when he shot and killed the couple. The shooting caused Klein Jr. to crash into his father's house in Pacific.
Well, anytime there's a loss of life, it's a senseless killing, and everybody belongs to somebody, and them victims deserve justice, and not only do the victims deserve justice, but the families deserve justice and answers as to what happened in regards to that.
Sheriff Pelton says Coulter has an extensive criminal past and believes he was trying to rob the couple. Klein's dad thought so too.
It was deliberately done. I don't know if it was for the backpack and all the stuff he had in it, or had a grudge or what, I don't know.
The sheriff says his office issued a no-bond warrant for Coulter on January 10th. Just 3 days later, Coulter ended up in a police chase, which turned into a manhunt in Villa Ridge. And 2 days after that, on Sunday, he tried to run from officers again, crashing his car on I-55 at the Bates exit in St. Louis.
Our agency alone probably has over 1,000 man-hours up until this point in the investigation, and we're not done yet. We're going to do whatever is possible to make sure that we seek justice when it comes to that.
Both of the victims' families tell 5 on Your Side tonight they're glad to see some sort of justice. Klein Sr. didn't want to go back on camera, but told us over the phone tonight, maybe if Coulter was in jail, my son would still be alive.
Police say no one else was hurt in tonight's pursuit and crash. Tonight, a woman is dead after being hit by a Metrolink train on the Metro East. It happened just before 11 a.m. on Old Caseyville Road in Swansea. The victim has been identified as 52-year-old Jennifer McDonald of Belleville. Witnesses tell police she was jogging in the area with her dog. The animal was not hurt. According to investigators, the crossing track gates were down at the time. Metrolink is offering condolences to the victim's family and says it's cooperating with the investigation. In a statement, the agency says, quote, "The public is reminded of the importance of obeying warning signals at grade crossings for the safety of all." Well, right now it's a windy and chilly night in St. Louis after a mild January day. Many of you are off tomorrow for the MLK holiday, but rain is moving in. Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell says you could hear some rumbles of thunder.
You know, that chance is certainly there as we head into tomorrow, Mike. But tonight, it's been that breeze that's been pretty gusty. Through the course of the day into the evening, we've watched our cameras bounce in the breeze. As you look over towards the Science Center, we're looking from 100 above the park. Look at that camera bouncing because of that wind. What we're not seeing is cold air to go along with that wind. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 40s, and yes, it looks like there's rain over St. Louis, but let's get a closer inspection. As we look closer with our local Weather First Doppler radar right in and across the metro area, you don't see rain falling and showing up on the radar. This is a composite image that you're looking at now, which means the rain over us is up at about 14,000 feet. Those raindrops are not making it to the ground. What is? Well, it's over parts of eastern Kansas into Oklahoma. That is headed our way as we head towards daybreak. So showers are likely by daybreak. Most of the rain will be before noon. Might hear a rumble of thunder, but rainfall amounts should be less than 1/4 of an inch. Not a lot of heavy rainfall out of this system. We'll see you in a few minutes, Mike.
All right, Scott, thanks. Tomorrow is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but people have been honoring the slain civil rights leader's legacy all weekend long at the Missouri History Museum. Today's celebration including a presentation by the great-great-granddaughter of Dred and Harriet Scott. They were slaves who sued for their freedom here in St. Louis back in 1846. She spoke about the changes being made at the old courthouse and the History Museum to update the story on slavery.
It's not always a pretty story, you know. We teach challenging history, and I mentioned that there are going to be these new panels on St. Louis slavery. They're so well done.
Dred Scott is buried in Calvary Cemetery with a modest headstone. Work should be completed this summer on a new, larger memorial to make it easier to find. Tomorrow, the 54th annual MLK Day Parade will start at the site of the Dred Scott trials. The march and motorcade starts on the steps of the old courthouse at 9 a.m. It will end at the Sun Theater in Grand Center, where there will be an interfaith service. There are several events tomorrow commemorating Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. For a full list, just text MLK to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you the list. St. Louis's new police chief, Robert Tracy, attended an MLK service in downtown St. Louis today. Only 5 on your side was there as Chief Tracy joined the congregation at Central Baptist Church. A major focus for Chief Tracy is community engagement. He says hearing citizens' concerns and getting feedback is a top priority, especially from the younger generation.
You're going to see me on TV, but getting out is so important because you really see people as real people and you have that conversation. Those young kids are the future. They have some of the best ideas.
Chief Tracy says getting out into the community isn't just something he's doing at the beginning. It will be an ongoing priority for him. Today, President Biden marked the holiday by visiting Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, where Dr. King was co-pastor. The president was invited by its current senior pastor, Reverend Raphael Warnock, who just recently won re-election to the U.S. Senate. The president told the congregation the past actions of the civil rights icon were a guide to the nation's future.
We, the people, are going to choose love over hate. I believe Dr. King's life and legacy show us the way, and we should pay attention.
Mr. Biden is now the first sitting president to speak at a Sunday service at the historic church. Tonight, the Show Me State is in the national spotlight for a dress code debate in the Missouri House. It applies only to women in the chamber. 5 on your side political editor Mark Maxwell is here with new reaction to the proposal drawing harsh backlash. Mark?
Mike, in today's world of no-holds-barred politics, it seems just about anything can spark heated debate, even workplace dress code. That can put reporters at the hard-hitting journalistic intersection of public policy and women's wardrobe. Last week, while Illinois was banning assault weapons, Missouri lawmakers were discussing the right to bear arms, if you will, or at least how to cover them up.
As ridiculous as that sounds.
Representative Rachel Prouty's colleagues consider her one of the more fashion-forward members of the Missouri House.
I do have concerns that some of us lack the fashion acumen, if you will, to make such decisions on what we can and cannot wear.
On Wednesday, the Ferguson Democrat challenged new rules that would regulate a woman's wardrobe on the House floor.
And we are fighting, again, for women's right to choose something, and this time is how she covers herself.
The initial proposal would have kept a rule requiring women to wear a second layer over their dresses or tops, but would have restricted them from wearing a cardigan.
A lot of times you find that women's suits or women's professional wear does not come with a blazer. It posed a bit of a problem.
House Republican Ann Kelly sponsored the amendment and said a grammatical error in the old rules caused confusion for the clerk in enforcing the dress code.
You are told a jacket is required on the House floor. But there were some people interpreting this if you were wearing a skirt or a sweater, you did not have to wear a jacket.
You know what it feels like to have a bunch of men in this room looking at your top, trying to decide whether it's appropriate or not?
There seems to be an idea that if we're not in blazers in the Missouri House, that women are just walking around with, spaghetti straps and halter tops, which absolutely is not the case. We've always had to cover our arms.
Kelly defended her proposal in an email, writing, "For the past 200 years, there has been a dress code on the House floor and the chamber, and this is not changing. It is still expected members dress professionally with a jacket."
If we would all focus on our own constituents and our own closet, I contend the quality of life of Missourians would improve substantially.
It took 163 politicians in the House nearly half an hour to sort all that out. Democrats may have seen a bit of a political opportunity to draw attention to the conservative nature of that dress code and to evoke other images of lawmakers controlling women. In the end, the crisis was averted. Lawmakers reached a cardigan compromise. They can still wear them.
All right, Mark, thanks. A live look now at Busch Stadium. We're 74 days away until opening day. But Cardinal fans have been hanging out there and at Ballpark Village all weekend. That's because both venues are the new location for the annual Cardinals Care Winter Warm-Up. The fan event was canceled last year and was held virtually in 2021. The Cardinals Winter Warm-Up wraps up tomorrow. General admission and some autograph tickets are still available on the Cardinals website.
Representation in reading.
It's not just African American characters or whatever, it's Hispanic characters, it's Asian characters.
Meet the two sisters from North County, now making a difference by writing the books they needed as children. Close Call. The message tonight from police after a car comes just inches from hitting a student boarding a school bus.
Monday is not going to be the wettest day of the week when the second round of wet weather arrives this week and when it will actually feel like January again.
With the world seemingly on edge all the time, it's more important than ever to inspire love and acceptance into the hearts of our children. As you'll learn in tonight's Making a Difference report, two local sisters are trying to do just that. They're writing the books they needed as kids.
Perfectly crafted, everyone is unique.
At the Rittner School for Early Childhood Education, they always make time for story time.
From the top of your head.
And today, these young kids are getting a lesson in self-esteem.
To the soles of your feet. You know, I hope that they begin to see themselves as valuable, that they matter.
Which shoes shall I choose with bottoms hard like steel?
Aja Owens and Adrienne Draper are sisters and today's guest readers.
But you must see your image.
They're also the authors of the books they are reading. They grew up in Jennings, and even when they had to stay put, it was reading and writing that took them places.
Honestly, I started writing on anything. I mean, I would write on a napkin, a receipt, you know.
It's almost like therapy for some people.
It is. It is because, you know, it's giving you permission to release.
But as they got older, they started to think about the children's books they used to read. And even the ones with illustrations lacked color.
We didn't really see a lot of characters that looked like us. And so it was important for us that as we're, one, sharing these narratives and these stories, that also the illustrations look like the kids that we either see or know or ourselves.
So which reading was the best for you?
So Owens and Draper started creating their own stories.
A whole conversation about basketball.
Collectively, they've now published 5 children's books that reflect families and children of color.
It's not just African American characters or whatever, it's Hispanic characters, it's Asian characters. We just want to make sure that it's the same as what you see in your schools, in the community, you know, in life.
During the pandemic, the sisters donated their books to some schools.
What do we do when we're being good listeners?
And one ended up in the hands of Rittner principal Jennifer Singleton.
I pull out this book and I wasn't familiar with it, so I'm thumbing through it and I'm reading it, and the message is just like, it was so inspirational to me.
The name of that book? Rock What You Got.
When I say rock what you say you got, rock what
you got,
rock what
you got.
It's starting that message very early to love you. We're all unique. As we grow, we're going to change. But as we change, you know, we're still valuable.
I really like this one. You liked this one the best? I like this one. You liked this one? What did
and
you
their
like
messages apparently jumped off the page.
My friend. Does she look like your friend? Mm-hmm. Are you perfect in every way? Yeah. Yes.
I am. My slippers, of course, but not on the couch.
When they're not writing, they're working.
The shoes we will choose that makes us feel great.
Draper is an educator with the Pattonville School District.
To the world, you mean a lot.
And Owens is a community activist who's running for mayor of Jennings.
You are perfect in every way.
But the plan is for more books with the hope of passing their passion on.
You are beyond special.
To more kids.
Learn to love words, learn to love expressing yourself, love to, you know, just value who you are.
Say, rock what you got.
Rock what you got.
children's book authors Aja Owens and Adrian Draper.
We had a rock star with the kid with the skeleton shirt on.
Writing new chapters on the importance of being different together.
Yeah. It was so fun.
They're inspirational. They are absolutely inspirational.
The sisters also write poetry and host a regular program at the Missouri History Museum called Living Legends. It's a chance to pay respect to prominent black women in the St. Louis community through music, dance, art, and film. A reminder, if you know a person who is really inspiring or someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com. Caught on video, a close call for a young student who was boarding his bus. A car lost control on the slick roads and slid right past the student. This happened last week in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Fortunately, the child was not hurt. Police say icy road conditions played a part, but say this should serve as a reminder about bus safety laws. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with the Weather First forecast, and our temperature is going up, but it's a wet forecast, right,
It
Scott?
is a wet forecast, and there's a couple of opportunities for rain over the next few days and some wind to go along with that. We had a windy afternoon in St. Louis, gusts 30 to 35 miles per hour. Our peak winds officially at Lambert today coming in at 33. Chesterfield was up to 36 in the valley with those winds gusting across the area. There's even a wind advisory as you go down to Rolla, head down 44 towards Springfield. There may be some gusts around 40 miles per hour. For most of us, though, we're looking at 30 to 35 miles per hour, we think, as we head into tomorrow afternoon. And it is a warm wind for us tomorrow out of the south, which of course means the moisture's on the increase. And while we're increasing that moisture and there is rain on the radar screen, notice it's nowhere near close to St. Louis. It's up in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. The cloud bases are way too high. The air is way too dry. So this initial wave of moisture is not reaching the ground, but it is serving the purpose to moisten the atmosphere from the top down. And eventually, what we're seeing out in southwest Missouri into portions of eastern Kansas, we're timing that towards St. Louis as we head towards tomorrow morning. That will be our weather maker as this weather system slides towards St. Louis with a track far to our north and west, which keeps us on the warm side. All rain. No chance for wintry precipitation here. So the first little wave comes through during the morning, scattered showers 4 or 5 o'clock. You get another batch towards the end of the rush hour into about 9 or 10 o'clock. We may have some thunder with this, especially east of St. Louis, as you get a little brief downpour. And then as the actual front comes through later in the day, there's a chance we could have an isolated shower or thunderstorm towards the evening rush hour. But temperatures tomorrow in the 50s, close to 60 degrees. Unfortunately, this parade of storms coming in off the Pacific, that's still pounding California again tonight. This will effectively be our next weather maker. And while rainfall amounts for tomorrow morning looking like less than 1/4 of an inch, this system, as it works its way across the country and heads our way, will be able to tap more moisture, and it looks like you have a more pronounced time frame of rain here, which will happen during the day on Wednesday, right on into Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night. And we could see a good 1/2 inch or more of rain out of this. And then as the system pulls by, some cooler air slides in. Cooler, closer to average, but still not cold. January, that's where we are. The average high, 40 degrees. We have temperatures above average right into next week. Now, the end of next week and into the following weekend, we will finally cool down. See, that next big chance of rain is really tomorrow morning, and then you've got another batch coming in on Wednesday.
All right, Scott, thanks. Well, a terrifying near miss on the ground as the number of feet 2 planes came within tragedy is something we'll tell you about when we come back. Tonight, a desperate search for survivors after a passenger jet crashed in Nepal. At least 68 of the 72 people on board were killed in a fiery crash. The plane was seen in a steep bank right before it crashed into a gorge. The cause of that fire is not yet known.
Delta 1943, cancel takeoff clearance.
New audio recordings tonight of an air traffic controller avoiding a potential tragedy at JFK Airport in New York. 2 planes almost collided on the runway Friday. A Delta flight was taking off when the pilot had to slam on the brakes. The plane came within 1,000 feet of an American Airlines jet. No one was hurt. The FAA and NTSB are investigating. Whether it's holiday cards, wedding invitations, or just paying bills, millions of Americans buy stamps every year. But can you expect another postage price hike? Here's Brandon Lewis with our Verify team.
The U.S. Postal Service processes more than 425 million pieces of mail a day, including some sent by Verify viewer Barbara. She texted our team to ask whether it'll cost more to send mail this year. So Barbara, let's verify. Are stamp prices going up in 2023? Our sources are the U.S. Postal Service and the Postal Regulatory Commission. The price of stamps is controlled by the Postal Regulatory Commission. Currently, it costs 60 cents to mail a standard 1-ounce letter. In October, the Postal Service announced it wanted to raise the price to 63 cents and increase the cost of sending postcards and some international mail to help offset inflation. The request was approved by the Commission in November and takes effect on January 22nd. So, yes, stamp prices are going up in 2023. This is the second increase in less than a year. Stamps went up 2 cents on July 10th, 2022. You could save some money by purchasing Forever stamps before the increase on January 22nd. Forever stamps will always be enough postage to mail a 1-ounce letter, regardless of how much you paid to buy them. Just remember to buy your stamps from an official stamp seller. Offers of big discounts are usually a scam, and you'll likely end up with counterfeit stamps. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
What would you like us to verify for you? Send us an email to verify@ksdk.com. Fine dining without the big check. The local restaurants offering affordable gourmet dining this coming week. Clayton Restaurant Week kicked off today. 13 participating restaurants are offering 3-course meals ranging from $25 to $100. It runs through Saturday, and we have more information for you in the As Seen on TV section at ksdk.com. And there you have it, a late edition of 5 on Your Side at 10. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. And now, here's Frank Cusimano with Sports Plus.